Hey everybody. Oops, I'm supposed to have that muted. I did have it muted. I don't know why it wasn't muted. So here we are, Tommy and Patty at Alderman Farms, or should I say Pawpaw and Monty at Alderman Farms. If you'll notice, I'm going to get there in just a minute. We've adjusted our lower third graphic to indicate that today it's Pawpaw and TOMAS and Monty at Alderman Farms. We've got a special guest today. Our 5-year-old grandson, TOMAS, who has spent the weekend with us. And we've had lots of fun. And I'll tell you what, we're going to get to that fun. We're going to talk about the fun we had. We're going to show a few clips. But I'll tell you what we need to do right now, because while we're here live on Alderman Farms on YouTube as part of the Homestead Network, there are people not far from here in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and in Georgia who are recovering from some horrific damage, storm damage. People are grieving for lives lost. I believe I saw conflicting reports. Some said 3, some said 4 in Hattiesburg, and last I saw there were 11 in Georgia. I'm hoping some of our viewers in Georgia, I tweeted at Big Bear today to make sure they were okay, and maybe if they jump in, they can let us know about that. So, but if you don't mind, let's pause for a moment here and lift up the folks who have suffered from the storms in prayer. Lift them up to the one who can heal their hurting. Okay, let's pray. Father, we do come to you right now as we're here having fun and discussing light topics and things of that nature. We're aware that there are many, many people, neighbors of ours in our state and in neighboring states and nearby states who suffered horrific trauma over the last couple of nights, and Lord, saw their entire lives ripped apart, saw all their belongings in some cases just totally devastated and wiped from the face of the earth, things that they had spent a lifetime putting together and building, and just destroyed in a night, really in a few hours. And Lord, we're aware that there were those who lost their lives, so there were family members who, Lord, in the middle of the night and woke up today even to hear news of loved ones who'd been lost to the storm. And so, Father, we can do things to help them, and I pray that we will monetarily, and I know our little church is already mobilizing to do things. And Lord, but you're the only one that can heal a heart. Now, you're the only one who can assist folks in the grieving process and help them through it. And you are the balm of Gilead. You are the healer of broken hearts. And so, Father, we just ask you to do that now. We pray that the loss would not be in vain, that you would use it to bring glory to yourself, to bring others into relationship with you. We pray that the grief would be brief, Father, and that healing would come to those entire communities. We go ahead and thank you now in advance, because we know that whatsoever we ask in your name, you hear us and you grant our petitions. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right, thanks for that, because it got kind of scary a little here night before last, but not too bad. And it's just something, boy, the devastation that weather, wind and rain can cause. So, all right, now, didn't we have an agreement not to be silly? Right? Thumbs up. Thumbs up. All right, Tomas wants...
Tomas want to talk about the storm too.
Oh,
so.
what about it?
All right. What about you? Do you want to talk to him about the storm?
Mm-hmm.
Tell him. All right, stop.
There was a tornado in Hattiesburg, and then I think there was lightning.
Yeah.
A little bit
At
at our house.
Yeah.
At our house, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And did you stay in bed all night long that night?
Mm-hmm.
You did? Well, he was in bed all night long, but not the same bed.
Whose bed did you come to?
Like this morning, I came to yours.
3 o'clock in the morning.
That was yesterday
Night
morning.
before last, yeah.
Yeah.
We were Well, it was pretty rough here, but thank God we didn't have any damage or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so last
I came
night,
to Papa's bed this morning.
and my bed too. It's my
Well,
bed
this
too.
morning you weren't in it,
No.
right,
Mm-hmm.
Patty?
Oh, well, no, that's right. Because we spent the night over at my mama's house. We actually live in a mobile home trailer, so
Yeah.
we were here the night when it was really bad, and it was supposed to get fairly bad last night. And so I said, I don't want to spend another night awake worrying like we did the night before last. So we stayed at my mom's house, and I came back over here to our trailer early, and then Tomas did get in bed with Tommy this morning too. But not because the weather was bad, just because it was time for him to wake up. So.
And he kissed me when he got in bed, and I jumped. And then later he said, Papa, did you know I kissed you? I said, yeah. I said, did I jump? And he said, yes, sir. And I said, I thought it was money, and it scared me because it was just a bam.
Quit, your nose is itching.
But I was glad. I was glad.
But everybody's been saying hello to you. Can you tell everybody hey?
So, hey, everybody. Tell them hola.
Hola.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
¿Cómo estás?
Tomas is bilingual, even though he doesn't like to perform.
No.
He doesn't like to speak Spanish to people who don't speak Spanish. It's funny.
Or the people that don't look like they should speak
they
Spanish.
don't look like they should speak
If
Spanish.
you're dark complected, he thinks you're supposed to speak Spanish.
Yeah.
He's learning that even, well, I can't speak Spanish, but Pawpaw can speak Spanish, huh?
A little bit. Un poquito, muy poquito. Yeah, we were, let's see, Tomas was about 3 when we went to go visit Cameron in Portland.
Yeah, I think so.
And at the time, Cameron was living in some apartment buildings, and he had some friends he had made from Saudi Arabia. And in the Saudi Arabian culture, the ladies don't mingle with the men and their friends and things like that. But when those guys found out we were coming, they wanted to provide a meal for us. And so their wives cooked up a big, fantastic Saudi Arabian meal, and we enjoyed it very much. It was delicious. And but the ladies didn't come down, and so our wives wanted to go visit them, to thank them and just to visit with them or whatnot. And I think it was just the one that was available.
Yeah,
it was just one. One of the ladies was available, and so they went up there, and Tomas went with them, and he was 3 now, and she was a dark complected Saudi Arabian lady, and she looked so confused because Tomas just waddled right up to her and started rattling off in Spanish.
Yeah, he had to go to the bathroom, so he walked up to her and asked her in
Spanish. ¿Dónde está el baño? Por favor. And she looked at him and looked at everybody and went, what is that you're saying? So, but she looked like she should speak Spanish, and she didn't. But
I want to say, we need to say hello to Emma. Simply said that her Emma, or his Emma, her Emma, had her head bowed and her hands crossed, praying with you.
Oh, well, thank you, Emma.
Say hey to Emma. She's a little girl that's watching us too.
Yeah, he can wave and rub his nose at the same time. He's multi-talented.
His nose is bothering him tonight.
That's
enough.
I used to tell people, for a while, Tomas was trilingual because he understood English, Spanish, and some American Sign Language. Mm-hmm. Do you remember any of the sign language that Monty taught you before he could talk?
You remember how to say food?
Think about it. How do you say food? How do you say more food, please? You remember?
No, forgot it all.
He knew it then, though. More food, please. She taught him how to say that. We've actually got a Facebook video. I wish I'd have thought about downloading it and showing that.
And he could say something in French, too. Do you remember your French word?
Ooh la la.
Ooh la la.
Because
his aunt lived in France, so he's visited France, too.
So,
and he's been out playing. I guess you saw his elbows. He has been fighting outside.
Oh, yeah, we did some...
And also, it was 200-0.
Oh,
that was the score?
Winning.
Yeah, he was fighting. Go get your sword.
Okay.
When he fights, there's a score. And his team won 200-0, and which is good because they're fighting with swords. You don't want the other team to score any. We had... give you a little bit of idea how much rain we had. This is a clip of a video that we put up of Adventures with Tomas, and he's wearing his, we call that his Jedi robe, because they went to Disney World not long ago, and you know Disney owns Star Wars now, and so there's Star Wars stuff in Disney World, and he got to go to Jedi training, and they give him a little brown Jedi robe, and of course we realized that doesn't look like a Jedi robe, because it's technically not. That belonged to our oldest, Cameron, for an Easter play.
Yeah,
I guess.
Easter play.
He was a shepherd in an Easter play, but this is all just runoff from the rain that we had, and
it looked like a creek back there at the bottom of our hill.
Yeah, it did. It looked like a creek, and so we were on an adventure, not just for adventure's sake, although sometimes we do go on adventures just for the fun of an adventure, but we were looking for the perfect limb to hang a swing on. Patty, tell them about the swing.
Yeah, when I was back in Louisiana last week, at the beginning of the week, cleaning out at my mom's house. She's up here permanently now, and so we're getting her house ready to rent. And was cleaning out the shed, and we found my sister's old swing that my daddy made. And she's 60-ish now, in her 60s. I don't know. She's she's into her 60s now, and so she had that swing. She remembered it when she was a little girl, and my daddy made it for her, and she didn't want it, so I brought it home for Tomas, and so Tommy has it hung up for Tomas to swing in.
Yeah,
now.
we never did find a limb, but we did. So I just went to Home Depot and bought a treated 2x4. I don't think I'm going to show it in this, and found two old gumball trees out there and secured it to that gumball tree. You may see a little skipping. It looks like for some reason I'm using a lot of my CPU, probably because this is a big film. And you'll notice that he's got a harness on his back. That's not a safety harness. I'll tell you what, let me come back to us for a minute to clear that cache. I'm going to try something. I'm using 99% of the system resources now. Now it dropped down to 64.
Let me just say something to Tara. She said she was just joining, and no, Tara, we did not have a tornado. We just had bad storms.
Yeah, just bad storms, a lot of rain, heavy rain, especially the night before last. Oh, Tomas is raising his hand. He wanted to show you his sword.
Yeah, there's his sword.
Yep, this is a handcrafted wooden machete that Pawpaw picked up on a mission trip in Ecuador, in the jungles of Ecuador. The Wairani tribe, if you've ever read End of the Spear, or familiar with the story of, is it Steve?
Steve Saint.
Steve Saint was the one who was killed.
What's Elizabeth Elliott's husband? I can't think of his name.
Jim.
Jim Elliott.
Jim Elliott, yeah.
Down in Ecuador.
So the tribal people the Wairani, who killed Steve Saint and Jim Elliott on their initial contact, those men did not die in vain. That entire village has been born again and are believers, have been for a long time. And so I got this handcrafted wooden machete for Tomas, and that's his sword, and he tears the bad guys up with it. I mean, you ought to see his sword play. We can't do it right now. We're too close.
Right.
All right?
Yeah.
So, I'll tell you, I had a little, you saw a little harness on Tomas, and I know my CPU usage is going to jump up when I do this again, too. But I've been editing. There's a lot of this video. Tomas is wearing a GoPro while he's swinging. He's just a swinging. And I'm telling you, he had a ball. And all I kept hearing was, higher, Pawpaw, higher, Pawpaw. And see if you can get a good look at his toes when they come up. He's not wearing black toenail polish. But he plays hard, and little boys get dirty when they play hard. And that's the way it ought to be, I reckon.
Yeah, he was wearing shorts yesterday, and we have on jackets today because the temperature is definitely dropping.
Maybe it's dropping to 42.
You think it's dropping to 42? It might.
Might.
I can tell you, we're not doctors, and we're not specialists in immunology or anything, but I can tell you this. Our kids growing up were hardly ever sick. Corey especially Corey, just hardly
Yeah.
ever been sick.
But Corey was the one that had goat milk most of his life.
Yeah, he did have goat milk most of his life, but even then, I mean, the kids we didn't have sick kids, and we really believed that part of it was they played in the dirt, and we encouraged them to play in the dirt, and we didn't throw them in the dirt or throw dirt at them, but
They played in the dirt.
they played in the dirt. Tomas plays in the dirt. He goes out there and gets him some pots and cooks him all kind of stuff with dirt. Sometimes.
He hadn't done that in a while.
But since they were little, and Tomas too, so that means they're introduced to all the little creepy crawlies that can get you sick if you live in a bubble. And
do that.
our kids never lived in a bubble.
No,
So
not ours.
no,
I never did it.
You never did either.
you never lived in a bubble, did you? No. In fact, the first how many years of his life did he live here? Did they live here?
A couple of years, I guess.
A couple of years,
Maybe
yeah.
3 years.
During the early years of his life, he was here on the farm, and
We were a little
full
bit today.
exposure to all kind of nastiness that just did him a world of good. Right?
Look, Mr. Doug and Miss Stacy said, "Hey there, little homestead homie." They're talking to you. Say hey.
Say hey back. Say hey back, Mr. Homie.
Hey.
Say it. Say hey, Mr. Homie.
Hey.
No, he's not going to do it. He's
He's
too
too
polite.
shy.
He's too shy and too polite to do that.
Can I show y'all something?
What you want to show us?
And also,
Well, where you going? They can't see you.
I hid the sword like this. It
Try,
went,
yeah, try not. Very good. That's very good form, Tomas. Very good. Now hop back up here before you break the china cabinet, or hit me in the face.
Let me put this over here. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I meant to.
Bump pop off.
Yeah, I wanted to give you a little update on my healing. Everything's healing up nicely. I feel like I'm even getting some movement back in here.
Tommy said that looks funny.
It looks
I
so
said,
stupid.
But I said, well, none of us walk around going like this all the time.
Yeah, but
so,
that's one of the exercises I'm supposed to do. And it's actually coming up a little bit more.
I think it is.
Just a little bit.
It's not aggravating him near as much anyway, so I think he's getting used to it. Plus, maybe it's getting a little better.
I'm not biting it quite as often, and she told me I had a real A+ pucker the other day.
Yeah, you puckered up real good.
It's still crooked though, see it?
They can see.
So,
Crazy.
but I've been having pain still. That's the most frustrating thing. It's throughout the day, especially, and don't worry, don't feel bad. It's worth the sacrifice. But after this show, I'll be hurting. It seems like when I talk a lot, I'm having pain in my face. I'm having pain in my ear over here, and but it's getting
nothing
better.
unbearable. He takes
No.
ibuprofen,
Yeah, I'll take a little
Tylenol,
ibuprofen,
so,
and I mean nothing. I mean, just do what you got to do. But I figured it'd be over with by now. But thanks, Edward.
Are we done with our? Yeah, Teresa, the kiss is getting better. Are we through with our updates?
Lots
Can
of
we move on to
practice.
this? Are we through with? Papa is being silly. I'm gonna fuss
You
at
talking
Papa.
about the? Yeah, I think so.
All right, Tomas, you want to ask everybody if they know what that is?
do you know what this is?
And here's another one.
Let
that
me see
looks
it so
like
I can hold it up closer.
And here's a big one. And then here's one that looks similar, but it's different. Papa, hold that one up closer.
That one looks like a foot. Some kind of crazy looking foot.
Yeah.
All right. We got kind of a delay, so it takes them a minute to get the guesses. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. I did that. I was trying to get the dirt. So we
That's all right.
dropped dirt.
We're still there.
Okay.
We just
all right.
couldn't see it.
Okay. So anyway, yep, we tree got it. The first one was actually turmeric, and the second one was ginger.
All right. So this little one here is turmeric.
Yeah, both of these are turmeric.
Oh, both of these are turmeric.
And then this one,
If it's only one, it would be one-eric.
oh,
But since we have two, it's
Hold it up.
turmeric.
hold it up. And this one is ginger. And I actually went to what do I go to? I want to call it a class.
Well, it is a class.
field day.
There's an organization in Mississippi called something or other Alliance, And I can't remember why. I can't remember. Well, it must be very impressive. You can't remember the name of it. Well, it's because usually they just use the word alliance, but there's more to it than that. And because they have these what they call an alliance field day at various places around the state, and folks from Mississippi State and Alcorn University, and come and talk about pests and this and that, and it's not all like commercial traditional agriculture. People talk about organic, and they talk about sustainability and things of that nature.
Well, yeah, and we were at Old Brook Organics, which is about 6 miles through the woods from us, and they are an organic farm. And some of the speakers they talked about different organics. This man here is actually from Alcorn, and I'm really challenged when you have an accent, a really heavy accent, and so I caught a lot of what he was saying. He had a lot of great information. He's really proud to be in Mississippi and has done lots of research and has developed a blueberry plant that is even higher in antioxidants and stuff like that. And so I enjoyed listening to him. I did not catch every word that he said, though. I tried really hard. But anyway... but it's Jesse Bowie is the man that owns Old Brook Organics, and he had a host there with our farm. I mean, at his farm, and had a beautiful. Did you put the meeting area? Well, that room that the man was talking in was actually the meeting room that he has built on his property. It's just beautiful, perfect place to be meeting. And this is him out there digging up.
Is that Jesse?
Yeah, Mr. Jesse's out there digging up that's turmeric actually right there, I think, that he's digging. And it's harvest time. And what I didn't realize, it's really hard, even here as far down the south as we are, to grow turmeric and ginger, because it takes 9 months to grow it. And so you see the PVC hoop thing that he had made, he calls it a high tunnel, but Dr. Bill Evans was there. We've talked about him on the show before. He actually calls it a low tunnel, and I want to build. Yeah, here's some water. I want to actually do some of those over my boxes to extend my growing season and to be able to put my plants out earlier. But it was just neat. I mean, it's simple. It's a little harder than digging potatoes. You see how he's having to dig through and get and of course we had all the rain. So typically, I guess if it's a little drier, it's not so hard to get the dirt off of it and everything, but just hosing it off and then breaking off your and so
I apologize for the choppiness of the video. It's I've got a high resource usage. It looks like it's settling down now, so maybe it'll be a little smoother for you, Pat.
But anyway, it was really neat that he dug that for us, and that's where he gave everybody as much as they wanted to take home. He let us take some home. So I'm actually going to plant mine in the ground, and I'm going to put it in one of my boxes that I plan on putting a hoop over to extend the growing season, because like I said, it takes 9 months, and he's harvesting right now. So anyway.
And we want to, he's right around the corner from us. I mean, technically speaking, he's just
he's not far.
Couple of miles away as the crow flies. Un momento, por favor.
And he's actually certified organic.
Yeah, so look for us in the future in 2017 to do some more stuff with Mr. Jesse, and super nice gentleman,
very nice.
Very, very soft spoken. I'm gonna have to mic him up because I guess he was. I don't know how he was presenting.
It was fine.
In conversation, he's very soft spoken, and but we'd like to go over and interview him, and do a feature video on his place and his operation. So you can see what he's got going on, and we can learn some things from him.
Yeah,
so,
and we're hopeful that maybe this year we'll be getting a high tunnel. So
hope so.
I've actually talked to him about maybe because I've been successful the last few years of being able to start all my tomato plants and everything, and I've talked to him about getting some tomatoes in his high tunnel some early tomatoes. So we'll have to see how that goes and if he's going to have room and everything. So, but like I said, Dr. Bill Evans was there from the experiment station, the truck. How do you say it? The
truck stop experimentation. Yeah.
Anyway, he was
truck
there.
Crops, not truck stop.
Oh yeah, not truck stop.
The truck crops experiment station.
Okay.
Rat pox.
No, close though. That's close.
But anyway, and he always has great information, and I was glad to talk with him. I talked to him about our English peas because,
Can you say something?
just one second. Danny and Wanda at Deep South, they just put up a video about getting ready for English peas and everything, and showing a way to put up a trellis for them that's a one-time investment, that using panels and everything, and it's really a great idea. And I've used different panels before, and I've done string. That's what I've talked to Tommy about, doing panels for my green beans, because it would just be easier to just I could actually go out there once he gets it all made up. I can actually go out there and set it up and everything. But I was glad I talked to Dr. Evans, though, because some green peas, English peas, don't grow very tall, and it's obvious when you watch Danny and Wanda's video. Theirs are not the variety that grows very tall. Well, the variety we have are called alderman peas. And my father-in-law, I think, or either my brother-in-law Lewis, bought those for us.
No, Pappy did.
Pappy did.
My daddy did.
But anyway, years and years ago, and I checked the germination last year, and every pea I planted, I only did about 5 because it was too late in the season to plant them. They all came up, so we're going to plant them this year, and so I have high hopes of making a good crop and to be able to keep those seeds going that he actually bought for us. But anyway, when I was talking to Dr. Bill Evans, he told me, I was asking him if all English peas were short, and he said, no, not all of them. And I asked him about the alderman pea, and he said those grow taller, so we're going to have to build a higher trellis.
Well, I probably could have told you that because the alderman pea, the name alderman pea, doesn't have anything to do with my family.
Yeah,
And
because y'all aren't tall.
I've forgotten. We also aren't peas, dear. Although we are 2 peas in a pod.
Oh.
I totally lost my train of thought. I got some sugar and it just blew my mind. But no, there's no family connection to the name alderman pea. And I knew where it came from. I can't remember. But the original name, they called them telephone pole peas.
Oh, that's right. I remember when we looked them up.
Yeah, so you could look those up. And that should have been an indication, unless it was Hobbit telephone poles, that they would be a little bit taller than perhaps the ones that Danny and them have. And I'm not at all amused, Wanda, that you're eating tomatoes out of your greenhouse tonight.
Well,
now, I'm a little envious, though, but one day.
Yeah. Well, I ate a tomato last night.
Yeah, but it didn't come out of our greenhouse.
No, it didn't. It came from James Richmond's garden back in our fall market back in November. It was right before Thanksgiving. He brought a bunch of green tomatoes. He had to pull them because if you remember, we had a freeze right then. And so he pulled all of his green tomatoes, and he didn't sell them all. He had boxes and boxes, and he gave me a box. And I've actually, they've as they turned, we've been eating them. So they're not as good probably as Danny and Wanda's or summer tomatoes, ripen on the vine, but it beats Walmart tomatoes, that's for sure. Which I don't buy tomatoes at Walmart, but so it was better than no tomato.
Here,
So.
if you think you want to go eat a tomato from Walmart, I can save you a trip to the store. What you do is find you a magazine or go online and find a photograph of a tomato, print that out, and eat it. Because they taste about the same. So,
Okay, he's been wanting to say something. Go ahead, Tomas.
Do y'all know how to say hungry in Spanish?
I don't.
Hambre.
Hambre. Sí, tengo. If I'm hungry, I say tengo hambre. See? See.
Tengo hambre.
Yeah, tengo means I have, and hambre is hunger. So in Spanish, they don't say I'm hungry, they say I have hunger. And if they want to ask you, are you hungry, you say, ¿tienes hambre? Do you have hunger? So, Patty, Teresa wants to know, Teresa Dean is asking if turmeric, ginger, and horseradish are in the same family. I don't know. Do you?
I don't know that either.
They look alike.
Turmeric and ginger are. I do know that. Turmeric
Okay.
and ginger are. I don't know about horseradish.
Okay.
And I'm going to say that.
Wanda may know, or Danny may know.
Yeah, I'm going to say they're not because, I know it doesn't have the same growing season because the horseradish, we don't have a problem growing it, and we do have a problem growing the turmeric and ginger because it's a Oh, heck.
Well, that don't
It
mean
grows
anything.
in Hawaii.
It don't mean anything. We're in the same family. We don't get up
what's
at the
that
same
word?
time either. So, all right, let's see. Hang on. So we know Patty thinks turmeric and ginger are in the same family, but not sure about
No, I know
horseradish.
they are because we talked
know
about
they are.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked about that.
And somebody asked about, here we go. I don't know if that's Halope or Halope, House Mini Urban Homestead. Forgive me and maybe help me with the phonetic spelling of your name. What homestead goals do you have for 2017? Well, we've mentioned one. We would love to have a high tunnel installed. It won't be the full-size high tunnel because I think one of our goals for 2017 is to figure out what we want to be. What do I mean by that? Well, we started as a homestead in Louisiana, moved up here. Homestead meaning, and boy, that's a loaded term, right?
Yeah.
What is a homestead? We're not a Doug and Stacy homestead, because I still work out, have employment elsewhere. We do not provide everything. We do provide a lot of what we eat here. But what I mean by that is providing for our family, as opposed to a small farm operation where we provide for our family and other families. And so we went through a process because we kept running into people in our local community. Do you have eggs?
Yeah.
Do you sell chickens? Do you sell pork? Things like that. And so we decided to gear up and sort of transition from homestead into more of a small farm operation. And I think that while there was some success there, I think probably because I really would be a fool to walk away from my current employment. It's a great company, great job. I have a lot of freedom here.
Okay, you can.
And other reasons too. We're kind of now thinking more back toward more of the homestead type status, where it's mostly for us and we can share and sell the extra. So that would be our major goal for 2017, is to really define some parameters.
Yeah, and that's one thing. One of the first guys that talked at the thing, and Tommy and I really hadn't had a chance to go over the information that I gleaned from.
Yeah,
from
I was out of
thing.
town while she was at the field day.
But that's one thing that they talked about. You need a goal or vision, and then you put together a plan. And that's one thing that Tommy and I, the first of our year was really kind of crazy. Things have settled down into some normalcy now. Usually at the beginning of the year, I just did my budget for 2017 a week ago, and I usually have that done at the beginning of the new year or before. And so, everything's running a little bit behind for us, but reassessing where we're at, where we're going, what we're doing. I really want to set some attainable goals for us. I have a tendency in budgets and in everything, baby, of setting it way, something that we can't meet. But I would like to do that, this year. We've still got to get rid of pigs. We're revamping what we're doing with our pigs. And we're going to actually be dealing with some of the pigs this weekend. My nephew.
No. Hold that thought for a minute.
Oh,
okay. Hold that thought for just a minute, because she's right.
Oh,
we are going to be dealing with a bunch of pigs this weekend. I'm going to be dealing with a handful of pigs in the morning. And here.
Yeah. The grass really is greener on the other side of the fence, and they have been looking at it for too long, and it's starting to grow with our warm temperatures, and they decided they wanted to get into it.
Yeah, and I tell people all the time, people ask me, do American guinea hogs root? And they're not voracious rooters, but there's a couple of conditions that if they're met correctly, they will root. And we've got them all right now with it and all that. So y'all can say goodbye to her. She's enjoying her last night of freedom, and we're going to put a stop to that. First thing in the morning. So
yeah, she's really been bad about up under our fig tree. Really, some of those pictures were from under it, and then we've had the rain, so it's just soupy under the fig tree right now.
So I'll probably totally threw you off your train of thought, but you were talking about we were going to have a butchering party Saturday.
Yeah, my nephew Matt, which he's grown and married, he's coming up along with his wife, and we're going to butcher as many pigs as we possibly can.
Come on.
Yeah, y'all come.
You come help butcher, you go home with
Bring
a pig.
one home. Yep, there you go. There you go. But anyway, so we're going to start working on that, and my other nephew, well, another one of my nephews, I think is going to come up another weekend, and we're going to take some Rusty.
Rusty?
He wants some, so we're just going to start working on pigs. If you want to help us, the offer is really true.
The offer's true.
Come on,
we just
help
need,
us slaughter.
You know,
you can bring pigs home with you.
Yeah, we holler at us,
you know.
if you're interested in that. I need to get. I mean, Jason, Big Bear has been talking about coming. That would be perfect to come, and we could butcher a couple, and he could take them home. So,
yes.
Did you talk about? Have you talked yet about your greenhouse, or did you have more to say there? Was that still in line with goals for 2017?
Well, yeah, it is. Big Bear said he is trying to get the truck fixed so he can come get some of the pigs. So,
oh, hey, Big Bear.
So he is there. And the lady answered you about how to pronounce her name. Tootsie, stop it. Halope.
I was close, wasn't I? Halope. I said halope. It's halope. Okay, halope. All right. Is that Hawaiian or Samoan or something?
Stands for harmony, love, and peace.
Well, Susan Sullivan had asked me if I was bilingual. I wouldn't go that far. I do have some understanding of Spanish. If you were to drop me in a Spanish-speaking country, probably within a week or so, I would be comfortably conversant. Mainly because I found that the folks in Latin America are very, very patient with you, and they're very appreciative of you trying to communicate with them in their native tongue, and so they're kind enough to speak slowly and use small words. But the reason I wanted to pronounce that as halope is because one of the things I love about Spanish is the simplicity of their pronunciation. People seem to have trouble or think it's difficult to pronounce Spanish words. Not so. Anytime you see the letter A in a Spanish word, it's pronounced ah. There's no a or a. It's always ah. Anytime you see the letter E, it's always a. Every time you see the letter O, it's always O. So when I saw that, I looked at it and said halope. So anyway, but.
And if you drop me off in a Latin American country, in a week, I would still be crying. Because I'm no good. When the words I do speak, I just get fussed at or corrected.
I need to tell them one more story.
Well, come over here. Come over here and tell your story, man. This is your show, after all. You know, you are our special guest. So let me tell them. Oh, you're going to show them your other sword? All right.
Also, I have another kind of sword.
Yeah. And where did that one come from?
Mama.
Patty?
Mama's?
I
don't
but-
know. It was probably Cameron or Corey's, I would imagine.
Oh, okay.
So
He's
I brought
armed
that
to the
treasure
teeth.
home for him.
Yeah. So what I was going to say was I did spend a week in Colombia a number of years ago. Spent some time with our son-in-law's parents down there, and at the time, his mom spoke a little bit of English. His dad, at that time, almost none. He still doesn't speak a whole lot, and so I spoke a little bit of Spanish. He spoke almost no English, and we worked it out. You know, I mean, when we were on Wi-Fi, Google Translate is pretty cool, and some other tools where you can speak something in your native tongue, and then Google will translate it. And we laughed about that because it doesn't always get it right, you know. But by the end of that week, you know, we were pretty conversant. Yeah, try not to pop Papa in the eyeball with your pop
That's
gun.
another thing that I found was the pop gun. So
Yeah, that came from Silver Dollar City. Yeah.
from when I was a little girl, probably.
All right, let's see here. Boy, there's dead space. I don't like it when there's dead space.
Well, I think we're transitioning over into the greenhouse and everything. You was talking about the
Yeah.
high tunnel and all
Yeah.
that. But one thing I wanted to mention from Bill's talk and everything.
Wait a minute,
was-
Teresa. That ain't nothing but time. You'll get it. Never mind.
I already saw her.
Oh, yeah,
comment.
said she'd love to come, but over 12 hours away from me.
Yeah. But anyway, I already talked about English peas, and what Bill Evans had suggested was that, you get your beds ready like in November for your English peas, because what I'm facing right now is it's mud out in my garden, and it will be because we're on clay. I talked to Wanda this week and everything, and she said they have a lot of sand in their soil. It don't affect them that way, but it definitely affects me. And I was disappointed because, I really would, I have a few weeks to get the peas in the ground, but it'd be nice to have them now in the ground. But I actually have some boxes that are ready that I can,
That's okay.
that I can
But you can't play.
go ahead and plant the peas in. So I'm just going to do my trellises. I'm going to do them on the sides of the bed and just do a trellis in my bed so where I can get them planted. But, for us, we can be planting spinach, carrots, parsley, beets, lettuce. There's lots of things we could
Beets.
be planting.
Yummy.
Your favorite, huh, baby? I love pickled beets. He won't even try them.
I might as well grab a handful of dirt and just eat
They don't
that.
taste like dirt.
They do taste like dirt.
But anyway, in my greenhouse, I need my greenhouse
Look behind you.
fixed.
Look behind you.
Because I need to.
They're thinking, what do they do with this child? It's weapons training, boys and girls. It's weapons training.
Don't say that.
We got to have all the help we can get when the zombies come.
Mm-hmm.
You
I'm
know?
a zombie.
But anyway, I'm ready. I need to get stuff seeded in the greenhouse. I need to get my tomatoes planted, and I'll put my lettuce in there to get them seeded, and peppers and stuff like that. But anyway, so I love going to classes and seminars like that this time of year. It gets me pumped. It gets me excited. I've been looking at some seed catalogs. I really don't need to buy any seeds. I probably have plenty, but I'll probably still
probably
order
buy
some.
some anyway.
Oh,
You know how that works.
I got some seeds too. That's another thing about going to these things. You get free seeds sometimes, and this is called a ridge gourd seed, and it's not a whole lot of seeds, but it's enough to get me a start. And it's actually, you cook it like squash. And then I have some melon seeds. Well, you can tell them the name of it.
Ooh, melon.
Maybe.
And this one's Pride of. That's a French one.
That's a
This-
French word. It ain't Spanish.
This is Pride of Wisconsin.
Melon charentay. I don't know.
Yeah, it's French. So, but anyway,
I don't speak French. Help. He spoke French.
So I'm excited that I was able to get some seeds to try some different things. And I don't usually plant melons. I want to. We tried to plant some watermelon for TOMAS, and they didn't do very good. The seeds kind of washed away. We had a downpour. But anyway, I just learned a lot of good things there. Also about our high tunnel, when Bill Evans will come out and we'll talk about where we're going to put it, but I kind of think I know where. One thing you don't want to do is put it at the bottom of a hill or a slope, because the water will run through them and everything.
So we
Plus
don't
it
really
stays-
have a lot of options.
Well, we're up on the flat ground, so I think we'll be okay out there.
I know, but I'm saying there aren't too many places where we could choose to put it.
Yeah, because we have to have it where the bigger animals aren't going to be able to get around it, because it'll look like my greenhouse.
I got to tell you that Mississippi really, there's a lot of, and other states may do it just as well. I don't know, but there are a number of resources, free resources available, training, expertise, dealing with more organic type processes.
Yeah.
You can find some of the universities are moving into it and offering advice and specialization in more sustainable type stuff. But yes, Teresa, each sector of Latin America has different slang that they use, such as in America. Also different accents. I don't know the difference, but my son-in-law, for example, Guillermo can hear somebody speaking, and he can tell you where that guy's from Venezuela, that guy's from
Yeah, they recognize that really quick.
Yeah, and
Even our daughter now picks that up. She knows the different. Is it dialects? Is it
different
word?
dialects, and of course Spain is much different the Spanish spoken in Spain is much different than Latin American Spanish.
One question I have that I would like to know: what do y'all use for your potting medium? I mean, I've got a recipe that Bill gave, but I'm curious to know what y'all use. I had really thought I was just going to go out in the woods and where it looked like some rich, fertile soil and dig me up some and maybe mix a little of my barnyard manure in it that's composted some, and just go with that and see what happens. He did give a mixture to use with peat moss. No, I can't spell real well, and now I'm having to vermiculite. Yeah. See, Tommy recognized from my spelling what it was, and a little bit of lime, a little bit of manure. So, and perlite. Do a mixture of that, and I can tell y'all the recipe, that he gave. But I was just curious to know, and I know there'll be a little bit of time before y'all can type it in, a little bit of a delay, but I really was curious to know what some of y'all use to get your plants started, if you do the greenhouse thing, because I know it has to be good soil that you start with.
French is hard on the pronunciation, and I can tell you this. Germans can't even speak German. That's a long story for another show, but I talked my former college roommate, Uncle Bobo, into taking German with me when we were in college, and it didn't take me long to realize that even Germans can't speak German, so I ended up dropping it. But Bobo had already reached his drop limit for that semester, so he couldn't drop it. He was stuck in the class and made an F. He actually stuck with it, though. It took it several more semesters, and so he can. I can say, Das Wetter ist furchtbar. Ja, es regnet 3 Tage. Und mein Regenschirm ist kaputt. Which is, the weather is horrible. Yes, it's been raining for 3 days, and my umbrella is broken. So, if I ever come into a situation where I need that, I'm golden. But other than that,
you're
sorry.
In purple.
I'm golden and purple. That's right. Go Tigers. Tomas said, you're golden and purple. That's right. He knows me all too well.
Our time is running really short. Okay, we got a lot of answers for this. Freaky Geek 2 says, years ago, use an equal mix of perlite, vermiculite, and peat moss with potting soil for great seed starting. Great. Well, I think I may try it. Big Bear says, wood chips and leaf mold can be used in place of peat moss and vermiculite. Okay. 111 perlite, vermiculite, peat moss. Great. Great. Now his was 50 to 75% peat moss, 12 to 25% vermiculite. Can you say it? When I look at my word where I wrote it down, I can't say it.
Where?
Vermiculite. Vermiculite. And he said, I can't read that. But a little bit of lime and like 5% manure and 12 to 25% perlite. So anyway, it sounds very similar, except his is more peat moss. So I'm glad to know y'all had good luck with that.
Tawana, we have applied for a grant that'll pay all of it. So
yeah,
they keep telling us we're going to get it. We didn't get it last cycle, but once you apply, it stays every year. They say, unless you tell us different, they roll it over, and so we'll get it. They just had a huge rush, and plus
but you got to tell them we're still interested. Did you do that?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And last cycle we did get, the fencing, fenced in 25 acres of land, so paid for by grant, and so we're still on the list.
Another thing I wanted to mention that I learned at this seminar is that it's called retuning. And Tomas, would you mind be quiet, please? Thank you. You can do that with okra. The people had a question about okra, but anyway, Dr. Evans said that you can actually cut okra back, and it will put off new shoots that you will be able to pick on into the fall. He said you can also do that with cherry tomatoes. It's not so easy to do that with big tomatoes, but with the cherry tomatoes, because they ripen so much quicker, you can actually cut them back to they're like a foot tall, and you cut them back in for us, you know, down here in the south. Cut them back in September to about a foot tall, and then you're going to have some tomatoes by, I think he said by October that you'll start getting some more cherry tomatoes in. So that was very interesting because they look so terrible by that time of year anyway, and so it would be nice to be able to do that. We also talked about different shade cloth and stuff like that. And the low tunnel, I don't think you didn't have a good picture of that low tunnel, did you?
No, I didn't.
Actually, it was the 20-foot PVC pipes that he used, and he arched it over. And I assumed
How wide? How far from one side to the other?
As far as you needed to be. I could walk in it. I mean, you know, so it's tall enough for me. But anyway, now this is my point. All he did was stick them in the ground.
He didn't put like rebar down first?
No, I figured there was a piece of rebar there and it was on top of it. And it was like, you know, that size PVC pipe.
Like 1 inch?
Yeah. And he just made the arch, and what he did, that was about a 100-foot row. And he had a piece of looked like a tree that he cut down about this tall, and it went up as tall as...
About this tall?
No, about this big around. Sorry. About that big around. And he had he had 3 of them, one at each end and one in the middle. Maybe there were 2 in the, you know, in the middle of the rows. But anyway, that was the center of the arches. And then he ran a rope. You know, a good, you know, it was only about as big around as my finger.
We need to go do a detailed video on that.
Well, I took some pictures where you could see it.
I didn't see those pictures, no.
Anyway, but he started that rope all the way at one end and ran it. Okay, just a minute.
Not right now.
All the way to
Just
the
a few
end.
minutes.
And then he just attached that PVC up at the top, like with some wire or with some, maybe some zip ties or something, to the rope. That's the only stability, so it would move. You know, it wasn't permanent.
Yeah.
You know, so I really like the way it was done.
We need to go examine that.
And it had been up, I guess, probably all year, because he probably had it up in the beginning when he first put it out there.
All right, we've only got about 7 or 8 minutes left,
Okay.
so let's show them.
Yeah, let's show the.
Show them what your cleanup crew was able to do for you.
I had some people working. So well, not people.
Not people.
I had some work done for me.
So tell them what they're looking at here.
This is our box garden, and this is our broccoli after our 17-degree weather. I told y'all, I think last week, that I didn't realize that it was going to kill the broccoli all the way out. I went out because I was hoping to get some little side shoots and stuff like that. But because I have last year I overwintered broccoli and picked it all winter and had broccoli in the spring. But broccoli don't like 17-degree weather. And in the very back there on the left, that is my garlic. And I was hoping that my cleanup crew would leave the garlic, and they left it mostly. And so this was January 12th, so that was 10 days ago.
And if you look in the back left part of the photograph, you'll see the white electrified poultry netting.
Yeah.
Well, Patty took this picture after she moved it, because that poultry netting did go between the dead box you see and where the broccoli was. So that was on, you said January 12th?
Yeah, January 12th.
That was on January the 12th. She let the chickens have it, moved the fence on January the 12th, and now this photo is from today. Oops.
That's the same photo.
It's the same photo. That's not. That is from today. 10 days work from about 12 chickens.
And you can see in the background that most of my garlic is still there, or a lot of the garlic is still there. So I'm very pleased at the work they've done. There was some green stuff growing in there, and I may move them where I have the hot wire fence to the left. I have one other box that has my parsley in it and some green onions, and so this frost did get my green onions too, to a certain extent, but they're still. I have a few that are still growing, and I'm hoping my parsley's not just totally killed. So
yeah, but anyway, so that's pretty impressive. 10 days work, about 12 ladies out there just going at it, and well, not all ladies. There's a couple of men folk.
There's about 5 roosters out there.
Yeah, too many roosters.
Yeah,
so they need to go in the pots, but.
Mm-hmm.
And we got one more thing I want to talk about, but first I wanted to jump into some of the. There's a whole typing discussion going on in the chat room, and I never took typing, and so, but I discovered just a couple of years ago that I can type without looking at the keyboard. And now when I'm looking at the keyboard, I can type. I never have time myself. I don't know how fast I type, but I type pretty doggone quickly with hardly any errors when I'm looking at the keyboard. But it just dawned on me, somebody got my attention or something suddenly last year, and I just kept typing, and it kind of freaked me out that I know my way around the keyboard, and it's not the way you're supposed to, you know. And I started years ago just like this, and then over time I would use a couple more fingers, and now I use quite a few fingers, and not like you're supposed to, but it's just my own method, and it works out.
But when he says he could type without looking, he cannot type like a typist and have his hands on the keyboard and constantly reading something and typing.
Not yet.
He can't do it quite like that, but he can do a little bit without, you know. He don't have to stare at it.
Thanks for the encouragement, dear.
Well, I don't want him to think that you can just peck around.
I didn't say
like
that. I said I can type without looking somewhat.
Somewhat,
you know,
yeah.
But all right, what you gonna tell him?
He's been
Tomas?
finding
Hurry
treasures
up.
in his room, so
Hurry up, because we're about out of time.
I have some bones.
Yep, he has some bones, some dinosaur
Them bones, them.
But Tomas, you know, I was going to ask you, what is your favorite part about coming to the farm? I wanted you to tell all of our viewers what you like best about coming to the farm. What's your favorite thing to do? How about that?
Do the swing.
The swing now is your favorite.
The swing
thing to
is
do?
your favorite thing to do?
What used to be your favorite thing at the farm?
The four-wheeler.
The four-wheeler.
It's four-wheeler, yeah.
And tell me what your favorite animal is at the farm.
Blue.
Blue.
That's
Blue
a
is the
dog.
dog.
He's a dog, yeah.
So, and tell everybody what you and Pawpaw discussed. What are you going to start doing when you get older for Pawpaw?
Do the animals.
Look up and tell them.
Do the animals.
Feed the animals. That's what do the animals means. I got to go do the animals.
Yep.
Yeah, Tomas figures when he gets about 10 or 11, he's going to go feed the animals for Pawpaw. Because he comes out with me every time. He knows exactly what I do because he's step for step. And he could probably tell you how to feed the animals right now. But,
I think he probably could do it now.
well, some of the buckets are kind of heavy. All right, we only got 3 minutes. So I wanted to take this last little bit of time to tell you about the Homesteaders of America conference. If you're not familiar with Homesteaders of America, WeTree's got some links ready to go. I've also got links in the description of this video with Amy Fuel over at the Homesteaders of America. And the 2017 conference is going to be in October. And we are extremely excited that we're going to be a part of it. You can see us right above Esther Emery's photograph. We're kind of there to the left to that big cow nose.
And it's not
right,
Tommy.
Right to the right of Lisa Steele. Yeah, but you're going to be there.
I'm going to be there.
But I'm going to be there talking about when trauma strikes, managing stress on the homestead. And we just can't believe how excited we are. And so Joel Salatin's going to be there. Off Grid with Doug and Stacy are going to be there. Daryl Patton, who's an herbalist, is going to be there. Lisa Steele from Fresh Eggs Daily, and of course Esther Emery from Falchamatic Homestead. And it's going to be a one-day conference this year, but I believe next year it's going to be 2 days. And again, we just can't believe it. We're very excited. We can't wait. The only bad thing about it is we've got to wait till October. You know, that it's from here to October.
And I think we talked about this. What was it, last October? When did we go to the other conference?
Oh, that's right. Jason's going to be there. I knew that, Big Bear. Sorry, I forgot. Jason's going to be there doing some hands-on trapping demonstrations.
And I can't wait for that. Oh, no, and he said tanning, too.
Tanning, too?
See, I want to learn how to do that.
Man.
I know y'all might think that's weird for a girl, but I really want to learn how to tan.
Oh, good. But Bandana Grandma's going. Got tickets in the room already.
Oh, great.
That's awesome. So, man, I hope that a number of you are going to be able to be there. And, send us an email, conference@aldermanfarms.net. You know my little trick. Just put some non-ugly word in front of @aldermanfarms.net and it'll get to me. And maybe we can have a little get-together when we get there. Certainly have a selfie session and take a bunch of pictures.
Yeah.
And,
that's what us
time's
different
up.
ones are talking about, maybe having a get-together. So maybe we need to try and plan that.
Yeah, well, we got time.
Yes,
so
we have time.
We got time to plan it, so let's do that. All right? So it's
We're
time for
out
us
of
to go.
time.
We're out of time. So remember this: whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do all to the glory of God. And we appreciate you guys. Thanks for joining us. It's time to jump over to Big Family Homestead. Tomas says bye, everybody.
Click
Tell
the
them, say
picture.
ciao.
It's not showing us.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I hadn't done that.
Yep.
Oh,
So
everybody's
now,
probably, there it
they can
is.
say bye.
Say bye. Tell them hasta luego. Tell them hasta luego.
After a wiggle.
Hasta luego. All right. See you guys.
Good night.